Welcome back, everyone. This is Change My Mind in 15 Minutes, the podcast where we discuss hot takes of the modern day specific to BYU and Provo area. Today is a hot take that we've been really excited to talk about for a couple weeks now.
Our hottest take yet, by far.
Our hottest take yet. Provo dating culture is toxic, is the hot take. We have some dating experts. Not that Zach and I aren't dating experts, I would say.
We try our best.
We're as expert as they come. But we've brought on Xana and Ethan to talk about their dating experience in and out of Provo, which will be really interesting and riveting to learn from them. I guess just to get it started, who wants to make the first claim? Agree, disagree, neutral. Is Provo dating culture toxic?
I want my mind to be changed by the experts. So I'm going to stay neutral until I get, some more information out of them.
I would say it's hard to say yes, it's toxic, because I think it kind of just depends on your mindset towards it and also who you go out with. I have a friend who, she went on a date with this guy, and during the very first date, he was already saying like, oh, you're my wife, and like making all these claims and saying all these weird things where she, like, he's a return missionary, a great guy, but just like, it wasn't like funny. It was like he was serious. I mean, I've been on dates with people who have mentioned some funny things, but like, it's nothing serious. It's kind of just like the culture of getting married fast. But this guy was like 100% serious of like, you're my wife, and making her kind of creeped out. And so I feel like in that way, and I've heard a few stories that way of it could be more toxic, of just like immediately assuming things that way rather than allowing yourself to actually date. But I guess maybe you could define like what you mean by toxic exactly.
Good question. I guess we left toxic up in the air so we could define it ourselves. I would say toxic in the sense that it's not a culture that you want to find your spouse. Is dating culture in Provo toxic in a way that you wouldn't want to find the person that you're going to end up with? Or not a spouse necessarily, a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you're going to end up with. Do you want to find that in Provo, or is it so toxic that you're just going to find weird people and it's not going to work out? Ethan got home from his mission just a couple months ago, so he's had a little experience dating in Provo. And you're from Texas, right, Ethan?
Texas, yeah.
Hit us with a compare-contrast. What's the toxicity differentiation?
Ooh.
I'm so intrigued.
Yeah, dating in Texas was, I feel like, easier because I could go out with someone and there wasn't really like commitments. It was just like I could go out with them, and then I guess it's kind of the same here in Provo. But really, I was able to go out with a person and I could ask for a second date, and it was totally normal.
In Texas?
Like, in Texas.
Okay.
It happens here too, but I feel like a lot of people here just like expect, there's a lot of judgment afterwards, especially. There's a lot of like, oof, and it's kind of harder, I feel like.
Yeah.
Harder to date here than in Texas.
Well, like, meaning in the toxicity wise,
Okay.
as Brenton was saying.
Yeah.
Like it's harder to not find that toxicity where you could actually go find someone that you're looking for to date, like serious, or to find your spouse.
Yeah. So is it a mindset? Is that what we're saying is toxic?
I think so,
Like
yeah.
the mindset here, because I feel like
The expectations, maybe.
the expectation
Of what dating looks like.
because I feel like you have two ends of the spectrum here in Provo. It's you're getting married after the first date you're proposing,
Yeah.
or it's like an 8-month situationship where you never are defining anything.
True.
So I'm wondering, like, are we saying that's what's toxic? Is there's no like middle ground? Of in Texas, for example, you go on a date, you like them, you go on a second date,
Yeah.
and it just kind of naturally
And it's
grows
normal.
from there.
Yeah, I feel like it's more normal and more natural.
Yeah. Whereas here, it's like you go on a first date, you like them. It's like, oh, should I marry them for eternity? Like
Yeah.
that
Well,
kind of thing.
and also it's like, but how many other people are they talking to? Like, am I the
Valid.
only one,
Valid.
or are they going on a bunch of other second
Yeah.
dates? Because I feel like that's where I would get confused. When I was dating, it was just like, am I like the third girl that they've gone out with this week, or is this like an actual good second date, or is it going to end here? So I just feel like it's not as like clear because
It's scary, yeah.
so many people are dating
Gotcha.
and a
Brenton,
lot.
do you have experience with that? Do you have any
I
stories
do
to
have
back
some
that up?
experience with
Okay,
that.
Let us know.
And I want to define it as serial dating, because I
Serial
think
dating.
in Provo we've
All right.
normalized serial dating in the sense that people get home from their missions, like Ethan here. And I don't think Ethan's in this mindset, but you get home from your mission, and lots of times your mission presents are telling you, hey, have a goal to get married within a year of getting home.
Yeah.
Which, love mission
That's
presents, but
crazy.
that's a little unrealistic if we don't have a girlfriend we're coming home to, or a boyfriend we're coming home to, right? And so I think serial dating is very prevalent in the Provo dating world in the sense that you take a girl out and you're already looking on to the next thing. If it was a good date, that's great. Can I go out with a different girl tomorrow because it's too soon to ask this girl out today? And you get to a point where it's almost like asking someone out isn't meaningful the way that it is in other cities or other states. Because I remember growing up in Arizona, working up the nerve to ask a girl on a date, it was like a big thing. I asked a girl out, I was like, oh, this dude likes me and he wants to hang out with me, and it was like a canon event. Now it's like
Core memory.
I remember Xana's my girlfriend, for viewers who don't know. The first time I asked Xana out, she told me she had an hour that she could spare during her week because of how busy she was with all the other activities
Xana was
going
5, 6, 7 dates a week prior to that.
No,
so
no,
it
no.
makes a lot of
Xana
sense.
was looking at a lot of weekly dates, to be honest.
Truly.
No,
To be
to
honest,
be
yes.
fair, I think that in this situation, as a girl in Provo,
Yeah.
I had a rule with myself that I would say yes to any first date, but when it came to the second date, that I would say, like, I would depend. And meeting Brenton, the first time I met him, I wasn't interested right
like,
away.
eh.
And so
Eh.
I naturally said that I only had an hour because I had this rule with myself that I said I would go.
Yeah.
But then it ended up being great. I mean, we're dating now, but in that case, like, I think I'm grateful now that I set that standard of saying yes to a date.
Yeah.
But I do think that in the past with dating situations, I wish I would have just said no, because maybe in that case it would have been considered and probably toxic on my part of like going out because I just had a rule
you
with
had the
myself that
rule,
I would
yeah.
say yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a common thing for girls in Provo is it's hard to say no because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, and girls are tender and sensitive and like want to be kind, you know. But I mean, there are dates that I've gone on and it was a long hour of dinner and I did not want to be there anymore, but like I told myself I'd say yes. And then I feel like I got to a point of dating, though, throughout my time of dating, of like not wanting to go because I didn't want to waste their time and money. So I feel like it was just kind of a shift in mindset.
Yeah.
But I think it just really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to go, I mean, there was a week or two, I actually don't know how long, that I was going on a date every week or every day of the week. And that was like
That's
a
insane.
lot and really taking it out of me. But I feel like it was
Brenton's.
because I wanted to have my time to date. And I wanted to like get to know a bunch of different people to find my spouse, but it wasn't just to like date for fun necessarily. It was like to date to get to know people and what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, it really just depends on your mindset. I mean, that could be considered toxic on my part and that's fine, but like...
Yeah, I think it could be considered toxic on your part. To pose the question to Ethan and Zach, Xana brought up an interesting point. Would you guys rather ask a girl on a date and she's not interested in you at first glance and she says yes just to be nice to you, planning fully to drop you after the first date, or she says no, straight up? Because in my situation, I'm conflicted. I used to say I would much rather a girl just tell me no straight up, and Xana told me yes, not wanting to go on a date with me, and now we have an amazing relationship. And so I feel like I'm conflicted. I can't have a true, valid opinion on it. What do you guys feel?
Well, that's what, I mean, thinking of your story, initially I would like to say, I mean, if you're not interested, don't say yes, because obviously if I'm asking you, I'm interested, and I don't want to be in that weird situation. But on the other side, I also like to think, if you give me an hour, like, you know, I'm not the worst person in the entire world.
Give me an hour and another hour will follow.
Give me an hour and, you know, give me 15 minutes and I'll change your mind, right? Just like this pod. So if you give me an hour,
There you go.
4 times 15
Which
minutes.
I did, by the way, to all the viewers out there. That hour turned into 4 hours that night.
Exactly.
That is not true.
That is true.
That is true. I
Turned
have the
into 2.
receipts. I have the texts from that night. Anyway, we're getting off topic. That's a great question. I would say, I guess no. Like I would want to go regardless. But yeah, I don't know. Ethan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say I'd rather like have a relationship as a friend with the person first. So instead of going on a bunch of dates with a bunch of different people, I'd rather have a bunch of friends and then have that event and be like, hey, will you go on a date with me? And it's like actually serious. Like I am actually interested in you. Like, are you interested in me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like if they say yes, then yeah, okay, we'll go. And then we go on a date.
Which Ethan brings up an actually super interesting point, I think. The idea of friendship before having any sort of relationship, right? I think in Provo, we have some sort of expectation that we meet someone, we're attracted to them, we ask them out, and if it works, we date them, right? Is there something to be said about, is is there toxicity in the sense that we don't just look to make friends, spend time with people, get to truly know them, where in reality what we typically do is we go off sheer first impression and attraction, ask the person out, and immediately try to see if there's any sort of chemistry and relationship there. Xana, what would you say?
I don't know. I would say
it's mythical. I would say it's mythical to be friends with someone before. I mean, 90% of the time, it's what Brenton's saying. That you
95.
find someone. Yeah, honestly, more.
At least personally, if I have a girl I'm attracted to,
Yeah.
I don't want her to be my friend. Why would I have a friend that's a girl that I'm attracted to that I'm not pursuing?
It's torture.
It's torture.
See,
Yeah.
I would say it could go, I don't know. It's hard to say yes or no on that because I think it really just depends on the person. I think for me, and this is maybe why we're dating, but it's just like similar where I don't think I would want to just be friends with somebody first. I think that it's just like easier to meet somebody and that spark and it's great because like all of my friends now I don't think I would be interested in. But if it's
Hopefully not.
I mean, like before I started dating Brendan. But I also have friends that are like, they're now very serious and they were friends for months before and now they're like very in a happy relationship.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think mainly my point is more like not being friends for like a whole year straight. It's like a get to know you phase instead of having like a date and then a get to know you phase. Like dating, get to know you phase. I think that in that sense it's a little toxic, but yeah.
That's valid. And maybe my mind is clouded because for the viewers who don't know, I grew up in Provo, so right around BYU. So this has kind of been, my little bubble for my whole life. This is the norm. And so maybe I am a little clouded and I just have never known anything different. Like you're coming from Arizona, you're from Texas. I know Zen is also
I'm from Orem.
Orem, so pretty much Provo. But I wonder, Xander, do you think that plays a role in kind of how we look at it just because it's all we've ever known?
I think for sure. I mean, to me, it's not weird. I personally, my view would say it's not toxic just because that is
kind of what we've always
what
seen.
I've grown up with, yeah.
Hmm.
But coming from somewhere different, especially Texas, where it's like if you're with somebody, right, it's like you're dating for sure. Or if you're going to a dance with somebody, like you're dating.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And so I feel like, but in Utah, growing up, we go to a bunch of different dances with all the people in high school, and it's not weird at all. So.
That's true. Like, how many dances do you guys have a year, like, per high school?
6?
There's like, yeah.
6?
Yeah.
6 or 7,
That's
maybe.
insane. I had like 2 max.
Okay.
Really?
Max.
We had 4 in Arizona.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it was
we've
like prom, and then there was the
homecoming?
steak dance. Yeah.
The steak dance?
The steak dance.
So 1, folks. Really,
Yeah,
really
really
one
just
dance.
one. Really just one.
the steak dance.
So I would say I also like the majority of people from that are at BYU, I would say are from somewhere in Utah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that could be different. So maybe that's just coming in. A lot of people are excited to date. Like I know that one of my friends, she's from Texas as well. And like she was so excited to come and have everybody that has the same morals as her. And so she met a lot of different guys that she was really interested in. Mm-hmm. And it was really fun for her to date. But it was hard when in some ways it became a little toxic for her because she was like, wait, why are all these guys like talking to a bunch of other girls at the same time of talking to me? Because it was just new for her. So,
which I guess maybe where I want to shift the conversation a little bit before we share some of the actual statistics that go into Provo and Utah is expectations. Are the expectations of dating in Utah/Provo what the toxicity stems from? Because I think at least in my experience, I've been in Provo for about 2.5, 3 years now since I got home from my mission. There's always just some sort of expectation that goes into it. You take a girl out on a first date. If it goes good, she sends you a text at the end of the night saying she had a good time, which is your green light to ask her out again. You ask her out again. And then you're in this weird limbo where you're like, am I already supposed to kiss this girl? If I kiss this girl, am I allowed to be kissing other different girls? There's all these different...
Yeah, a whole nother
there's all these different
conversation.
conversations we can break off into.
Yeah.
But all I mean by it is the expectations of dating in Utah. I think some people are on the spectrum of once you're going out with someone, you're going with them, you're steady.
Yeah.
And other people are, well, until we make this official, which could be 3 months down the line, I'm able to date, go out with, spend time with, do whatever I want with anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a little toxic in my opinion, and that's why I sway more towards the side of Provo dating is toxic.
Right.
Because I don't want to be in the situation where I really like a girl and I've taken her on 3 dates and she's still going out on those 3-4 dates a week with other guys.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I really don't like that. I don't want to be in that situation where this girl is talking to like a couple dudes and I'm just there waiting. I think it should be more personal. I think it should be more looking for the right person in that sense. I think it should be slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the competition is real. Like, that's a real aspect that you have to think about. There's a lot of people. Before we get into some BYU specific stats, I do kind of want to bring up something that we might be overlooking in the sense that it is college, right? I think if you go to any college campus and you ask kids, is dating toxic around here? Most of them are probably going to say yes, just because when you get to college, you're kind of exploring, right? You're seeing what you like, right? You're 18 to 23 years old typically in college. Here, BYU, maybe a little bit older. Yeah. But it's kind of your first time getting out and experiencing the world. And there's a lot of options. Like in high school, you might have 2,000 kids in your graduating class if you have a huge school, right? Whereas BYU freshman admissions this last year was what, like 10,000 people or something? I don't know. That could be totally wrong. Yeah. But I think that's something that we maybe should think about. Is also probably most colleges could be seen as toxic, but BYU specifically, we're definitely in an interesting little spot here.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well, some BYU stats, obviously. 17% of BYU students are married as they attend school. The average for a normal college is about 7%.
Oh, wow.
So we're 10% higher married students.
I would
than
assume
other
it would
colleges.
be more, though.
I know.
So
You would think. I know. I saw
Yeah.
17 and I was like, oh, that seems a little bit low. But do we have any thoughts about that? Having a 10% higher marriage rate, does that obviously play into the toxicity of the dating culture?
I don't think so. I think it just makes sense with BYU and with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and more what we believe in marriage. Yeah. And I feel like that's a typical thing. But so I would say no.
Yeah, I'd also agree. Like President Oaks has said multiple times, repeating, like, we need to do this. And so he loves families. So we need to have a family. And I think it's important, actually.
Which, right along those lines with that stat, the average age of marriage in the Provo, Utah area is 26 to 27 for men and 25 for women. Average age U.S., men is 31, women's 29. And so we have almost a 4-year difference, and everybody at BYU is getting married 4 years younger, which, does that add to toxicity, or is that a good thing?
It's actually a good thing. In one of my classes, Strengthening Marriage and Family, the statistics, scholarly wise, it talks about how the best age to get married is 22 through 25, I think, or 26, of having a healthy and stable marriage. And so kind of an interesting thought, but I think that fits in well with especially as members of the church and making those covenants in the temple. Typically most people that go to BYU are doing that, and so it allows the best age for marriage, even though it's different than the world. But
Clock's ticking. Clock's 22, 25. Clock's ticking, folks. I don't know. Most of our viewers are going to be right in that zone, so it's something to think about.
Don't let Xana stress you out too much. Utah has double the marriage rate of almost every other state in the United States of America. Really? There's a stat that I just saw according to ChatGPT, so take it with a grain of salt.
Thank you, Chat.
We don't have a ton more time to talk about this. I think we could make an hour-long podcast specific to Provo dating culture because we've all lived in it, and we all have very strong opinions. We've all had our great date experiences. We've all had terrible date experiences. So I want to give everybody a chance to just share 10, 15 seconds, your final thought. Is BYU/Provo dating culture toxic? Has your mind changed? Is it the same as it was before? And then we'll wrap up the pod. Ethan, let's start with you.
I think BYU in general is fine because we're in college, like Zach said. But I do think Provo in general, like being in high school and also that, I think it's affecting the smaller kids. And so in that sense, yes, it is toxic doing all that stuff.
Santa.
I would say no. I don't think it's toxic. I think that you can find toxic people everywhere. But I think that you can find some really great people that are doing their best and wanting to pursue and find their spouse. And so I would say no, it's not toxic.
She looked at me when she said spouse, folks. So
good sign.
There's some good things coming from this toxic Provo dating culture. I'm going to actually change my view from what it was before. I said Provo dating culture is toxic. I'm going to change it, saying it's not toxic. It's actually a healthy way to find the person that you're going to end up with. And I wouldn't want to be looking for my wife in Wisconsin right now. So I'm happy that I'm finding her in Provo.
Just random shot at Wisconsin.
Random shade at Wisconsin.
Sorry, Con Knipple.
Or at Texas. I wouldn't want to at Texas.
Random shot at Texas.
That's just a shot because BYU plays Texas tomorrow.
tomorrow.
And so we don't like you very much, Texas. Zach, last thoughts, and then you wrap us up.
Last thoughts. I'll wrap us up. I don't know. I came in pretty neutral. I'm going to say dating culture is not toxic here. But at the same time, I think you can find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for something that's a little toxic, a little edgy, you're going to find it, right? If you're looking for a girl to marry or a boy to marry, then you're going to find that as well. So I think whatever you're looking for, it's here at BYU. You can find it, but just, figure that out sooner rather than later. You'll save yourself some heartbreak. This has been Change My Mind in 15 Minutes. We'll see you next week.